wrestling fans, if you like what you've seen, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and also don't forget to ring that bell.
Back once again to Shooting It Straight with your old pal Rudy. That's right, where I kick it with the best wrestlers in the whole wide world, and we just kind of break down their careers and whatnot. You know the show, and today I am so honored not only having the former JCW World Tag Team Champions, the former International Big Time Wrestling Tag Team Champions, but they have held numerous titles throughout Albuquerque, Texas, Denver, all around the world. Of course, I'm talking about the real psychopathic soldiers. Yes, I'm talking about Chuey Martinez and Moshpit Mike. And fellas, man, first off, I want to thank you guys for coming, and you know, it's a real honor. We've done a lot together. We've worked a lot together.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about the beginning. Where did the beginning start for one Chuey Martinez?
The beginning? I was 14 years old in 1997 in San Antonio, Texas.
That's where you were born?
I was born and raised in San Antonio, Texas. I loved pro wrestling since I was 5 years old. And then I was acting since I was like 5. I was in every play you can possibly imagine. And then I became a magnet school.
Even in high school, you were in plays and stuff like that?
I went to a high school. It was a magnet school for fine arts. So I was accepted into like a school inside of a school for like performance arts.
Kind of like Fame, the TV show Fame?
Yeah, so like theater, technical theater. And then, so the Latin teacher of that school was a Mexican luchador that traveled all over Mexico, and then me and my best friend Ricky Davis, we were doing all that backyard stuff at that time, and then he was an All-American football player, and then he even had the Latin teacher for a class.
Yeah.
So the Latin teacher wanted Ricky to become a wrestler, and he was like, okay, look, I'll start training with you guys, but he has to come with me. So it was like, and that was it. And so at the beginning, before I was Chewy, I was Hammer.
Hammer.
Yeah, so it was Sledge with Hammer. So it's Sledge and Hammer.
Sledge and Hammer. Okay. But now, who was the trainer? Who trained you?
It was, so at that time, so it was 4 altogether. Prior to deathmatch wrestling, so at the beginning it was his name was El Comando, Tom Sears, and then Prince Fontenot, which was like maybe a 5'3" brother, big old bodybuilder.
Really? All right.
And then my first wrestling match was, I was 14, almost 15.
What?
In 1997 at a strip club.
Oh, no way.
So I was a 14-year-old kid, 15-year-old kid performing wrestling.
Wait. The wrestling was happening during the stripping?
It was happening during the stripping.
Oh, my God.
Thursday night. It was a Thursday
night. Where's this place at?
It's no longer there, obviously. But like Thursday night, it was out on a Thursday night. And I still had to go to school the next day.
Oh my God!
On Friday, but me and Ricky, it was our first tag match.
Do you remember who you guys were?
I don't know now. Like, give me a second. we might get back to me on that. You know how our minds think on that part.
So Moshpit, you've been involved in wrestling for, when did you start? Let's talk about your beginning.
Man, with me, it was the gathering, man. When the first gathering was in 2000, I got the program and it said, going to all the events with my friend, it said JCW Wrestling School. I told my friend who was a wrestler, like, wow, that's cool, JCW Wrestling School, I'll go try that out.
Sure.
And he looks at me, he's like, dude, why are you gonna go do half an hour? He's like, we're training, like, come and train with us. And I was just like, I was dumbfounded. I hadn't even thought about that idea. I was like, yeah, all right, I will do that. And then, I went to the gathering and did all that. And the JCW Wrestling School at the gathering was a little different. It was just basically some wrestlers would beat the hell out of some fans. It was a lot of fun to watch. I don't think it would have been a lot of fun to participate in, but it was a lot of fun to watch. But yeah, and then I came back and started training with my friends. And then
so who was your initial trainer that got you into the business?
The initial trainer was a guy named Ernest Baca. He went by the Animal. He was a New Mexico guy, not big in New Mexico. Can't say about anywhere else. And then had some time with him, and then we had a little bit of an issue with him, and of course, how everybody always goes. And then it was Hobo Hank and Thunder. We just all kind of trained together. They were like my mentors going on.
Hobo Hank, yes, okay. So you guys, how did you guys hook up? When was the first time that Chuey Martinez ran into a Moshpit mic and obviously the connection gelled?
Yeah, I remember.
Obviously. You do?
I do. It was.
Let's see.
It was in Amarillo.
Amarillo, Texas.
It was probably, I think, PWF at the time.
No, before that it was
Youngblood, right?
It was Youngblood. So it was the first time.
The Youngbloods?
It was yes. So it was Chris Youngblood.
Nice.
It was Chris Youngblood and his nephew and his brother Rocky Romero, and then this guy named Jack Logan. So like Jack Logan was obviously like at that point he was like the money man, like kind of the beneficial with helping them.
Man, I don't remember who exactly you worked. I remember we hung out afterwards at the bar.
Well, we wrestled because it was a tournament, right? It was a tag tournament.
Yeah, it was. It was a tag tournament. I don't think we actually got together, right?
No, because it was me and Tejano Kid versus a couple of. Did we not win? Who won that tournament? I thought we.
You might have won. I don't remember.
We won, I think.
All I remember was that night we went out with Mike DiBiase.
Hey, that's my boy, Blue.
Yeah, and we proceeded to have a fun time that night at a hotel room. I remember it was me and Magic and you and some friends.
Years.
We got together that.
Mike DiBiase in Amarillo, Texas, bro.
Well. The thing is I know about you guys and your fun times, because we've had several of those fun times. Let's fast forward a little bit in a little bit more.
But what year was that?
In depth in your.
It was like 07, man.
07?
Yeah.
Okay.
07.
No. It was 07 was our first gathering. It was 06.
06. You're right.
It was 06 because we'll get to that in a minute.
Well, let's talk about deathmatch wrestling.
Oh shit.
How did you get introduced to this? I'm going to ask both of you guys the same question. How did you get introduced to this? And of course I know, it takes a special kind of person to do deathmatch wrestling.
Right.
So tell me, how did you get involved in it, and who introduced you to it?
You want me to go first? You want Mosh to go first?
Yeah, go for it.
You want to? It was 2006 with San Antonio. This is even a better story because this is finally where the story comes face to face. So this was your. It was your main event. Like you were supposed. Yes, because the main event for this show was Rude Boy, JCW's Rude Boy versus JCW's Necro Butcher in San Antonio, Texas.
Yeah, that's right.
It was your show.
That's right.
So this is what's even crazy because like I hadn't wrestled for like because I lost my dad in 04.
Okay, so
and this was no thanks. No worries, but I lost him in 04, and then. This was in 06, so I think that you had like a family emergency.
Yeah, we couldn't make it. Yes, right. I remember that.
And you couldn't make it, so they're scrambling.
But I thought Alcatraz was there.
Right. So Manny came.
Yeah.
Alcatraz was there, but Necro comes in. So this is how everything plays together. So you couldn't make it. Everything happened. Obviously, Necro's assumption he hadn't even got there yet. So I just got there for the first. So like my friends are begging me to come to the show because I haven't done wrestling in over a year and a half. my mind just wasn't
right.
Really. I just didn't.
You weren't prepared.
Well, it wasn't just prepared. I was just stuck because I was a lanky kid, and I just really didn't have that build at the time. Like I was a really lanky kid, and I was maybe like a $105, all the way till I was like 24. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah, well, not a $105, but like I was.
Yeah. You were small.
I was very thin, so it was very hard for me, like all the way up.
Big and thin.
In Texas wrestling, it's very hard because at that time, Texas wrestling it's very fucking political. It's very hard. I was already doing Texas wrestling all over Texas. I had done already, and I was stuck, and I didn't know what the fuck I wanted to do anymore.
Yeah.
And so that's where, at that point, I was like, fuck this. And my buddy Mar was just, come to the show, asshole, come to the show, right? Come to the show. I was like, all right, fucking ass, I'm gonna come to the show. I come to the show, I get a couple of beers, and then I go say hi to the boys. And as soon as I walk in to say hi to the boys, hey, what's up? And this burly, redneck looking man walks in the dressing room, and the first thing he says is like, obviously, when you see Dylan walking in the room, like he's gonna
butcher, yes.
Right, so he's gonna necro, he's gonna take everyone just turns
all
around.
the attention,
right? Because like that's the main event. So obviously, it's the main event is everyone's expecting you versus Rude Boy. So it's he walks in, and then the first thing he says is, gentlemen. Hi, gentlemen. I'm Dylan. Nice to meet all y'all. There's a lot of folks. I'm a little banged up, so I'm not gonna go and shake everyone's hand. But if y'all like, I'd shake your hand if you come walk to me. And and that was his first. Literally, that's the first thing that came out of his mouth. And then the second thing was, would any fine gentleman might have a beverage? And I'm, here you go. So when he's saying that, like I'm right next to him and I'm passing, and he was like, I was like, oh, here you go, boss. And he was like, oh, are you sure? I was like, yeah, man, go ahead. I bought him. I was going to give it to him, but I saw you first. So here you go, sir. I'll get him another one. My buddy Maro, I'll get him another one. And then he goes, he drank that motherfucker in like...
one gulp.
Right. So like, so my first impression was like, what the fuck? Like, wow, like this dude... Like, of course I knew he's a worker. Like, it's like, and I love those workers, especially just being trained in SA and all that old school shit.
Yes.
And so it was just like that, and then 2 minutes later he comes and says, "Hey, buddy, let's go to the bar." Instantly, and I still haven't.
So you guys have a connection right away.
But I didn't even know his name yet.
Right.
Like I didn't even know his name yet.
Sure.
Like I hadn't even really seen like because like my last 2 years was just like so blurred, so I wasn't paying attention about wrestling or anything like that. And then it was just like then we went to the bar. Then he said, "You're a worker?" And of course, "Oh yes, sir, I've been a worker." I let him know the deal, and then we take a shot, and then he's asked, "What's your story?" Like, and then just instantly. And the reason he's doing this is because obviously he came from a prior booking the night before, and I guess the guy that brought him here, he's trying to get this kid a booking too. So he wasn't very fond of wanting to work Manny one-on-one. Right. So his whole thing was like, hey, how is he going to help this kid that brought him? Right. And that's Dylan, because Dylan does that all.
He looks out for everyone.
So he was like, well, how am I going to help this? Right. So that's how that went, and then it ended up instantly, like after our 5th shot, he says, "You got gear?" I said, "Bro, I haven't wrestled. Like, what are you talking about?" Like, "No, we're not doing." And then he's like, and then I told him I was stuck because he asked, "Well, what's your story?" And I told him everything, just what I just told you. Sure. And then he goes, "So, buddy, I got something that you might want, but it might hurt a little bit." Instantly, like, "Hey, I could probably help you with that if like you're stuck and like to change." Because I told him like I'm just fucking tired. Like I don't know what else to do. And he said, "Hey, I might have something for you." And then before you know it, I'm the main event. And so it ended up being a tag. Match. So it was Alcatraz 187 and myself versus Necro and the kid Sid Murder.
All right.
That was my first.
So that was your first introduction.
That was my first introduction.
Let me ask you something, because you've worked both ways, both styles. I'm going to ask you the same thing. Do you enjoy the the deathmatch aspect? Being an older man now,
Right.
you know, with your body has been through a lot. Do you still want to do that type of wrestling, or do you just want to wrestle, man? Talk to me.
Damn, you're getting all Dr. Phil on me, right? I love deathmatch wrestling. I always have, and I always will. For that gentleman introducing it to me, it was,
Sure.
Once it was a whole nother lifestyle, and to be honest, I believe deathmatch it's so much therapy, and it's an art for me, and with so much emotion and things that go on in my head, it kind of like. It kind of helps, like it's therapy for me, like it relieves me, I think, like with just so much trauma that I've had in my past where I'm able to put myself in a different, like, just for 20, 30 minutes. If I'm
You're in a new...
Right.
You're in a new universe.
Right. So like for my feeling, my soul just, it's like getting a tattoo for me.
Yeah.
So like that's how much in love. So it's like you can never take deathmatch wrestling away because it's an art, and I got taught the right way to do deathmatch wrestling, about telling stories and just climax, like, because obviously there's going to be a climax. But
Sure.
It's about leading up to that.
Leading up to it, yes. And look, there's no secret, man. Necro Butcher is the best when it comes to telling those stories and to make sense of everything. It's the true story, all you viewers out there. Necro Butcher is a certified genius, and that's the God's honest truth.
One of the smartest men I've ever met in my life.
Ever in the world.
Moshpit Mike in Denver, Colorado, wrestling for a death match that is not sanctioned by IBW. Oh!
Now your introduction to deathmatch wrestling, obviously it's with the Juggalo type thing. Tell me what drew you to this art form?
Yeah, man, watching it was always just so incredible, you know, but I never really wanted to do that. I didn't think that I could. It was, you know, so much intense pain watching, you know, you guys are the guys in the first couple of years. And it just started out slowly. It started out with hardcore matches. You know, I remember there was a tag team tournament, and lo and behold, and we had stop signs and trash can lids and stuff like that. And it was just, oh. And then we kept building and building. And there's a place called WWA in Amarillo, and they had a Monday Night Massacre tournament, is what they called it.
Wow.
Every Monday they had another show called Monday Night Massacre. And we built it up to where it was me and my tag partner. And we faced off against one show, and I won the Monday. And then, so I held the belt for the whole month. You know, we're arguing about it.
Yeah.
The next month comes, and we had a match that it went so intense. It ended with there was a table. He had thumbtacks all over the table, lit it on fire, and then threw me from the top rope, through the floor, through the table, through the burning thumbtack.
Is this the Monday Night Massacre?
Yeah, that was that Monday Night Massacre.
And then he got his $20 at the end of the day, and it was the shit.
And it was terrible. I almost quit in general because it felt like someone put cigarettes out on my back, just like 20, 30 littles. Because there's a reason you don't see people doing flaming thumbtacks.
Flaming thumbtacks. When you said that, I was like,
what an idiot, right?
What year was that?
That was 2007, 2008.
Okay, so we already... Oh yeah, I remember this because I think I might have been on that show.
Yeah, dumb as hell, man. I'm like left me with burns for forever. Like it's stupid, but still that flip the switch where I was like,
I saw it.
I can do it. I was like, I can handle freaking deathmatch wrestling. Then let's do it.
So let's talk about your first tag team together at the gathering of the Juggalos.
In ring or out of the ring?
Well, we can't talk about the out of the ring.
Well,
That's for another Shooting It Straight, the X-rated version. But anyways, no. Your first tag team. I mean, when you guys came out, people, they were recognizable to Moshpit Mike, but they were like, "Who's this Mexican guy?" And then when you guys started throwing down, people were on their feet. What was that like? Tell me about that first time that you guys got to work the gathering as a tag team.
as a tag team,
Man,
what was that?
It took a minute to get together, and it was one of those things that it did.
Because going through JCW, it's a process because there's so many veterans going up, and
absolutely,
you just have to. It's an old school respect kind of game. So if you want to get anywhere and those rankings, you just have to you know.
Absolutely.
It was
a soldier.
Yeah, it was a couple of years before we had a soldier.
A
Right?
soldier,
Exactly.
bro.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, so because that's kind of how because we have to explain this because it's a lifestyle.
Right.
So like the gathering, just every year, like the gathering going over and over it's a lifestyle. So it becomes a lifestyle. It just, especially with the wrestling part.
Okay, so this is, like I said, shooting it straight. We just shoot it straight. You guys are the tag team champions. Over bigger than life. Somebody says something crazy online before a gathering.
Damn.
Can we talk about this?
Probably shouldn't, but I guess we're shooting it straight.
I mean,
we'd be a little vague, I guess.
Are we shooting this straight?
If we're not being straight, then we're not being straight.
Right? It is what it is.
So you, in a joking fashion, said something about Tech 9. What did you say that was so criminal?
It was a joke about Bubba Sparks. Bubba Sparks had some stuff thrown at him, and it was just it was just a way to express displeasure with him. And I joked that they should express displeasure with him, and it
didn't go right with the office.
It didn't go right, and it was a joke. And it was meant as a joke, but it didn't get taken as a joke because obviously sometimes it's easy for things to snowball and turn into real, and that's the last thing anybody needs is a stupid joke turning into something real.
No doubt.
I get it.
But let's keep it real. It cost you guys. You were uninvited to the gathering, and your tag team partner, who, quite frankly, we didn't know what to do with. I mean, because you guys were so over together. He opted to take the time out of that gathering. Yeah,
man.
But let me say this for the record. Not ever dissing the Juggalos. Not ever saying, I'm turning my back on the Juggalos. You just took a little bit of time off.
It was I just didn't feel that the decision was for me, for as much as hard as we worked to get to where we were.
Yeah.
I just didn't feel that it was just something that, because if I'm gonna go and whatever he did wrong, and they're putting me, so I was like, well, look, I don't think it was fair for him saying something that I didn't think it was that dry.
I didn't either. I shoot it straight to the world.
But I mean,
that was so fucking
online
minor.
shit. Let's be real. If we're gonna be real, boss.
Yeah.
How many people talk shit online?
Every day. Every day.
So I just felt like I didn't think that was the decision to take the straps away from us and then just because of his actions. I get it, some people could say things because I know for a fact I'm not perfect, but at that point I just wanted to stand up for the right for us to, because we're soldiers, but if my brother's not being taken care of right, I'm going to make a stand. But he still went for the love because he's been going to the gathering for almost 20 years.
And I swear there was this luchador who looked kind of like, I'm not going to say because he's not a fat guy, but this was a fat luchador.
Yeah.
And that's all I have to say about that. We'll show you some footage in a minute. But
he has more patience than I do.
Yeah, exactly. But okay, fast forwarding now. Fast forwarding now.
Fast forward.
Now
What happened?
the tag team are back wrestling for JCW again.
Right. We spent this time getting in shape. We spent this time getting younger.
You're getting older. I'm getting a little older.
And now
But it's still culo chulo.
But last at the last pay-per-view, you guys wrestled the clowns.
There's a fun
Not the ICP, but you guys wrestled the
Brothers
clowns.
of Construction.
How was that? How was that? I watched it. I thought it was a good match.
Well, they definitely weren't our homies for sure. So it was definitely a different. It was different.
Yeah.
And they were very evil and they
Very
were
stiff.
tough and they were stiff as fuck. But all we want is the best, very much.
I always remember that sleeve. I go to whip the guy, and I'm in the middle of the ring holding his sleeve, and he's still against the ropes looking at me. That was just the funniest, craziest thing. I didn't know what to do, and then he kicked me in the face. But
Okay. All right, guys. Well, back in JCW, back doing the damn thing, what you guys love doing. We're now at the portion of the show where I'm going to ask I'm going to give you
Scared.
5 names each. And you're just going to say the very first word that comes to your mind.
Okay.
And we're shooting it straight, Chewy. We're shooting it straight. Ready? All right, I'll start with Moshpit Mike. Sabu.
Extreme.
The Provider.
Provider. Man. Same thing, man. Deathmatch. That's what I think of with him.
Madman Pondo.
Homie. That guy is one of the guys had me under his wing. One word, sorry. One word.
One word.
One word. Homies.
One word.
Violent J.
Homie, man. Like one word. I don't even know. I don't know what one word I could say. That's a tough one. I suck at this game.
Rudy Hill.
Brother.
Yeah. All right, Chewy, are you ready?
No.
Okay, here we go, Chewy.
One word. I'm not giving
One word.
like him.
Nope, one word. Terry Funk.
Godfather.
Abdullah the Butcher.
It's not so easy.
Trendsetter.
Ian Rotten.
Ian Rotten.
Madman Pondo.
Brother.
Kevin Gill.
Creative.
Rudy Hill.
Brother.
We've been shooting it straight with the psychopathic soldiers, of course, Chuey Martinez, the one and only Moshpit Mike. We'll be hitting you right back here next Tuesday with a new edition of Shooting It Straight on location from Denver, Colorado.
And entrepreneurs, are you ready to take your company to the next level? Here is your chance to advertise your business or products under the lights of international big-time wrestling scene worldwide. For more information, call 313-675-3367. Let's take your company big time.
Tune in next week for more international big-time wrestling on The Fix.
If you've enjoyed this video from RoX-TV.com, make sure you follow RoX-TV on Facebook and YouTube. If it's underground, we're there.